I'm going to switch my tactic here because I'm running out of time. This is the conversation, I think, or this is the video I'm going to dedicate to what I would say if I was going to say this really like bluntly and cheerily, which I think is like the manifestation of the conversational problem in the text message, because can't really just like add an exclamation point to something and it not be offensive. And that's me mocking it, because that's how I would respond to it if I were being like lighthearted and blunt about it, because I really don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And I also don't want to launch into like a really deep, long form monologue about it, because that's my toxic trait. And if I'm invested in something emotionally, I can do a long form monologue about it on the spot, and also then get out of it by quoting you Shakespeare. Because it's also a justification for why I'm doing long form monologue. And I find myself, I define myself. I should enunciate, not be such a hillbilly and recovering drunk. I define myself, label myself as a writer and speak. Because for a long time I couldn't stop the shakes enough to write anything. You know, other than all of my wrongs, my sins in life for the last decade. That was easier than writing shit down. I'm making lots of jokes here, because that's what I would do if I was trying to make a lighthearted fuck you kind of video. I mean that only, well, entirely. Because I get to do that. And the reason I get to do that is something that usually launches me into long form monologue. So I try to keep it light. I have lived a lifetime of invalidation. It's taken me 35 years to live that, and 2 or 3 maybe to do a whole lot of developing to get me to that point. My eternal problem now, and the reason for all my problems now, is because I have lived a lifetime, and most recently a very abusive relationship of invalidation. And now, to some degree by choice, and also to some degree by circumstance, I find myself completely solitary and isolated from the world, and my time is running out. I need to find a way back into it, and that starts with just having a little bit of a social network, and I don't fucking want one. And I've lived a lifetime of knowing what that comes with. I think I've also spent a lifetime trying to counter Maslow. And he is a worthy competitor. I am a humble foe. I'm doing the best I can to relate to the rest of the world. And for all my life, I've spent trying to protect myself from it by separating myself from it. And the rest of the world has been keen to allow me to do so. And that's been incredibly invalidating my entire life. I'm not saying that to guilt you or shame you or make you feel responsible for hurting my feelings. I recognize my hurt feelings are the result of a lifetime of invalidation. Saying that because it's important for you to know if we're going to continue getting to know one another. And I've been struggling with how to communicate that. So when I say things really bluntly and kind of harshly and over the top, that's my comedic version of adding a couple exclamation points, because it's important in my book. And it's too early for me to launch into all of the reasons. And I don't know how to communicate that because I don't know how to relate to the world. That's a lot to say, but I think it's enough, and that's the only time I'm ever going to keep it below 5 minutes, so that's probably enough. I'm a lot for that reason. And that's not a flex. It's just something you need to know, and I just demonstrated because I guess subconsciously I knew I couldn't figure out how to say it. Not in under 5 minutes.